Hello, my name's Hemingway Jones, and I make videos about fountain pens for curious people. Today, let's direct that curiosity toward preppy culture and the top 5 preppy fountain pens. So put on some Nantucket Reds and listen to some Vampire Weekend as we roll right into it. So preppy culture dates back to the mid part of the last century. It derived from English and American preparatory schools, ergo its name. The name has had a bit of an evolution from Ivy League to preppy to prep, which is how you mostly hear it these days. So this aesthetic features things like button-down Oxford shirts, navy blue blazers, khakis, and a bit more color in men's dress, which is one of the things that I enjoy about it. And it has a little bit of that Yankee aesthetic of fix, repair, make do, and reuse. That's one of the things I really like about it, and something that's very adaptable to the world of fountain pens. So if you're looking for a bit of the preppy aesthetic, you can look at something like the Dead Poets Society. You can see the early work of Ralph Lauren. He was mimicking a lot of these traditional items of clothing. There are also books like Take Ivy that was very influential in popularizing the different looks, and other books like the Preppy Handbook, which was satire, but many people in my generation really took it as fact and modeled their whole look and aesthetic after it. And I think it probably led to a lot of the propagation of yuppieism in the late 1980s. It's referred to often nowadays as the old money aesthetic, and I think that hints at one of the criticisms that it celebrates elitism, which is a shame because it really is open to everyone, and you do see people doing all sorts of riffs on it, using tattered versions of the clothes and putting interesting patches and whatnot. So it has been sort of recycled and reemerged over the years. Now, I personally have dressed like this since the 1980s. It's just something I do. I wear tweed in the winter, and I kind of gravitate towards more preppy looks in the summer because there's nothing easier than throwing on a nice polo shirt for looking presentable wherever you go. And I am of the belief that a navy blue blazer goes with everything, including Madras shorts. I'm also very comfortable with color, and it's a nice way to celebrate color and to put a bit of that into your life and into your wardrobe. It's never bad to put a bit of color out into the world. Now that we've spoken a bit about what the preppy aesthetic is and some of its influences, let's get into what the top 5 pens for the preppy aesthetic are. My first choice for today reaches back into the roots of how the preppy aesthetic emerged, and that was in the dorm rooms of the finer schools in the United States and the United Kingdom. And of course, no matter what your background is, you're a student, you're surviving on ramen noodles and whatever else you can scrounge, you have to pay for your books and you have to pay for your nights out. So you need an option that's a reliable, fantastic pen that fits within this aesthetic. So my first choice is the Pilot Kakuno. And there's a couple reasons here. First and foremost is that it's an absolutely brilliant writer. It is a joy to write with. Pilot takes very good attention into all of their nibs, and this one is no exception. This nib also has this really warm anthropomorphic tilt to it, since each different nib size has a different face. They're absolutely adorable. It also has a bit of the baby blue and really nice powder pink colors that complement the preppy look perfectly. It's a well-designed pen, and it's extremely affordable. For under $10, you get a really great pen that won't destroy you if it happens to get lost on the way to the quad or down at the library. It's also nice enough that you can have multiples. So it's a perfect choice for the preppy lifestyle. However, I would be remiss if I did not mention a pen that's actually named after the preppy lifestyle, and that is the Platinum Preppy, another fantastic pen, an extraordinary writer, great nib, slightly less aesthetically fitting in with the coloration and whatnot. Most of them are demonstrators, but they're still fine pens. And one of the advantages of these is that they can be easily used as eyedropper pens. So they can hold a lot of ink. And once again, these will not break the bank. You can get one for $6 or $7 US. If you leave it at a party or you drop it on the way to class, it's not the end of the world. So two fantastic pens to get us started. My next choice is an Academia staple, a pen that my wife used at her university in the UK. This is the Lamy Safari. The Lamy Safari is such a great pen for the preppy aesthetic because it comes in so many different colors that match so easily with the different looks within preppy culture. Also, it is an absolutely brilliant pen. It's still affordable, around $30 US. Easy to use, hard to destroy since it's made out of very strong plastic, and those Lamy nibs are easy to swap out, and each of them are absolutely brilliant at writing. So it's a joy to use. It's not so expensive that if you lose it, it would be a huge issue, and it just fits seamlessly in with Academia and with the colors of preppy culture. Let's look at another pen that comes from Germany that is also absolutely brilliant for the preppy aesthetic, and that is the Deco Sport. This comes in at around $30 US. It's light, it's easy to throw into your pocket, into a bag, easy to carry around, comes in a rainbow of colors, any color that really complements your look, your emotions, whatever you want to portray. And those Deco nibs are an absolute joy to write with, very easy to service, to switch out, and they're just so much fun to use. So the Deco Sport is one of my favorite choices for the preppy aesthetic. My next choice is very much ingrained in the culture here in New England. And if you've graduated from school, even grade school, high school, or university, someone in your family has given you one of these pens, and most likely a pen and pencil set. So everyone in New England already knows what I'm talking about. But for the rest of you, it's Cross. Cross is a company that was traditionally out of Rhode Island, and all of us, when we graduated, got our Cross pens. My choice for the preppy aesthetic is the Cross Apogee. This Cross Apogee has an absolutely amazing 18-karat gold nib that has a bit of softness to it, so it's an absolute joy to write with. It also has a lot of flow in the feed, and it puts down a very expressive and interesting line. It is one of my most brilliant, best expressive writers. Plus, it comes in this gorgeous red that complements some of my power ties, looks great with a navy blazer, feels fantastic in hand, and is one of my favorite pens. Now, to find one of these, I would look at the vintage market. These pens were better when they were manufactured around the 2000s, and classic Cross pens are the way to go, in my opinion. So hunt down a nice vintage pen. There's plenty of them out there. We all got them as gifts. Many of us never used them because they were in the little gift box. But if you were fortunate enough to use it, it's fantastic, and I highly recommend you find one for yourself. My next choice is another absolutely brilliant pen. We're going to move now to France and the amazing Waterman Charleston. This is a fantastic pen. Unfortunately, it's no longer made, but there's plenty of them out there on the secondary market. You can get one of these for around $100, and it's probably the best money you've spent for a pen in a long time. It has that amazing classic Waterman 18 karat nib that just writes so smoothly, so expressively. Mine is a fine, which is rare for my collection. Those of you that know me well know that I often use much thicker nibs than a fine, but I absolutely adore this pen. I've taken it on many trips with me, and it just fits in with that beautiful yellow right into the preppy aesthetic, and it has a classic style of its own that matches the tradition of the preppy aesthetic as well. So an absolutely brilliant choice, and a great place to go looking for pens is the past, because there are some brilliant options. Now, in a corollary to that, which pen that's modern, that's absolutely gorgeous and brilliant and fun to write with, has links back to those traditions of classic academia and is just a joy? I think I'm going with the Esterbrook Esty in tortoiseshell. Tortoiseshell is one of those classic preppy aesthetics, usually in someone's eyeglass frames or one of their accessories, like a pen. And so it fits absolutely perfect. My example has a brilliant stub nib. I love stub nibs. It writes very expressively, very brilliantly. And Esterbrook, of course, originally was a company that made pens back in the day, like the Esterbrook J, that was very good for students. So you can have this really refined, gorgeous pen that traces a heritage back, but is very expressive, very beautiful, and fits absolutely at home with the preppy aesthetic wherever you are, for journaling at home, out in the field, on your Chris Craft, or wherever you find yourself this summer. So, what do you think of the preppy aesthetic? Did this old preppy do it justice? What do you think of my choices? Do you have some of your own? You know I love to read all of your thoughts in the comments, so let me know down below. Also, if you've watched this far and you haven't subscribed, please do. Love to have you along on this journey with us. Also, membership is available. Come behind the scenes, see the blooper reels, see my updates, even see me play guitar on occasion. Why don't you join the channel? It would be fun. So I release new videos all the time, so I promise we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care.
Farewell and adieu to you, fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you, ladies of Spain. For we've received orders for to sail for old England, and hope very shortly